Let's have our last speaker, Andrea from Carnegie Mellon University. She'll be sharing about speculative privacy attitudes and concerns about AR glasses data collection.
Hello, my name is Andrea Gallardo. I'm a PhD student at Carnegie Mellon University, and I'll be presenting a talk for work done with my collaborators listed here on current AR technology users' privacy attitudes and concerns about speculative or future AR glasses data collection. So augmented reality, or AR, is a technology that augments a user's visual and audio perception of reality with interactive virtual overlays. Many of you may be familiar with AR glasses like the ones shown here, Google Glass, HoloLens, Apple's Vision Pro glasses, and Snap spectacles. And we've seen novel technologies like the camera or tape recorder challenge social privacy expectations before, presenting a trade-off between benefits like novelty or the convenience of quickly rendering physical information, with downsides like privacy harms, such as unauthorized disclosure of personal information or breach of confidentiality. So what's different about AR glasses? Let me refer you to the prior speaker's talk. Well, maybe not much, we might say. Maybe we'll adopt them with just a little discomfort, yielding privacy for convenient heads-up displays and fun games like Pokemon Go. Yet, something about AR glasses haunts the social imaginary, as seen in the widespread critiques of Google Glass users who used the glasses in socially unacceptable conditions, where mobile phones weren't allowed, or filmed people without their permission, or the popularity of dystopian narratives, such as Black Mirror episodes that suggest that AR glasses could be used for invasive surveillance. AR glasses have the potential to collect sensitive user data, biometrics like heart rate, eye tracking, voice print, as well as bystanders' face images and voices. They may also be able to combine such data to infer even more sensitive user or bystander characteristics, such as health problems, as suggested by the prior speaker. We wanted to consider privacy concerns that are specifically related to types of AR glasses data collection that are possible now or will be in a few years. Our exploratory studies research questions were as follows. What are participants' attitudes and concerns regarding data collection and use by future AR glasses? Which data actors and data subjects are participants concerned about? And what privacy principles do they expect or hope for? First, I'll give you some details about our study's methodology and the participants. Then I'll highlight some results for the research questions. So we conducted 21 semi-structured interviews that lasted 60 to 90 minutes and were conducted remotely via Zoom. Most participants were recruited through posts to Reddit forums, and 2 were recruited from an email listserv. Specifically, 12 people were recruited from forums for fans of mobile AR games, Ingress, Pokemon Go, and Harry Potter Wizards Unite. And 7 people were recruited from forums for augmented reality and the HoloLens glasses. All participants were current users of consumer-grade AR technologies. When we asked them what technology they most frequently use, 6 said the HoloLens, 11 listed AR mobile apps, 2 listed a VR device, and 2 did not name an AR app or device, though they did use AR technology. In our interviews, we told participants to imagine that they had a hypothetical and more advanced pair of AR glasses, and we asked them how comfortable they would be with AR glasses collecting 15 data types, such as location, brainwaves, eye tracking, facial expressions, reaction times, as well as how comfortable they would be with 5 data uses of notifications, health monitoring, social feedback, face filters, and mood or emotion detection. These data types and uses were all based on real technology, either currently available in consumer devices like smartphones, fitness trackers, and home voice assistants, which use cameras, microphones, heart rate monitors, and voice prints, or technology being developed in prototype like Varjo's Galea beta program XR glasses, which integrate an EEG system to read brainwaves. For these 20 data types and uses, we used qualitative coding methods to analyze the interview data, coding 3 attitudes for each question about whether they would be comfortable or uncomfortable with certain data types or uses. When they responded strongly in support of or in opposition to a data type or use, we prompted them with an opposing attitude example. Though many participants acknowledged the benefits or downsides we provided, they only changed their attitudes to the opposite valence in a few instances with no clear pattern. We also analyzed their responses to find themes that would emerge from the interview transcripts, developing a list of emergent codes that described concerns addressing our research questions. I'll now present our results regarding participants' attitudes and concerns about data types, and anyone interested in our results for data uses can see the results in our paper. I'll name some of the concerns using Daniel Solov's taxonomy of privacy harms, which considers various types of harmful activities that occur through information collection, processing, and dissemination and invasions of privacy. So we found a range of attitudes. For example, most participants were comfortable, shown in green, with AR glasses collecting the data type of location, though this participant pool may have been biased by the fact that 12 of them used mobile AR games that rely on geolocation and were accustomed to granting this permission. Most participants were either conflicted or uncomfortable, shown here in the blue and pink bars, regarding novel types of data that could be collected, such as face images, which could be used for facial recognition, bystanders' voice prints, brainwave data, and facial expression analysis. One privacy harm participants considered was identification, or linking information to particular individuals. For example, facial recognition could provide personal information to and about strangers. Participant 8 considered facial recognition to be too personal, and participant 16 didn't want their face mapped or photographed and uploaded to wherever. Some participants suggested that discrimination could result from normative biases built into AR glasses features. For example, participant 7, who said they were autistic, was concerned about the harm of disclosure or revelation of truthful information about a person that impacts the way others judge her character regarding their autism and facial expression analysis. Raising the hypothetical application of video analysis of hiring interviews, they said, people who do not express their emotions typically can be flagged as untrustworthy or suspicious. If my phone was paying attention to my facial expressions to try to judge my mood and respond in different ways, I feel like it just wouldn't work very well. Similarly, but regarding social feedback based on automatic speech recognition, participant 20, who said they spoke a non-standard American English dialect, said, if the glasses are telling me that my accent is poor and that I need to retrain myself how to speak, that I would have a bit of a bigger issue with. Having grown up in rural Appalachia, I can attest to the fact that an accent does not determine how intelligent or capable another person is. Another concern was appropriation, or the use of the data subject's identity to serve the aims and interests of another. For example, voice prints of bystanders or users. Participant 4 said, I don't want to go into a store and start hearing voiceover things in my own voice. I'll now briefly discuss some data actors and data subjects participants expressed concerns about. Some participants' concerns centered around people and entities who would collect or receive the data, such as AR glasses, the AR glasses company, employers, insurance companies, and healthcare providers. And it would have been interesting to prompt them about this adversarial game perspective, but maybe future work. Employers, participant 4 suggested the potential harm of distortion, or the dissemination of false or misleading information about individuals, in which an employer might distort the analysis of movement data captured by the AR glasses, saying, if I'm behaving a certain way at work and this starts triggering something like, oh, she must be aggressive the way she's waving her hands, now we're flagging your HR file. Participants also expressed concerns about the subjects of data collection, such as the users themselves and bystanders, and people in vulnerable situations or groups. For example, the potential harm of AR glasses disclosing sensitive data, such as marginalized identities, health conditions, or an abuser stalking victim's location. For example, participant 14 suggested that the disclosure of sexual or gender identity or political affiliation could endanger users or bystanders, saying, I'm most nervous about, say, people who are LGBT+ and not out of the closet getting recorded at meetings, or political meetings, like everyone knows what happens in certain countries. And I'll just mention some data principles that participants expected or wished to apply to AR glasses data collection. So these data principles included individual user control over data flows, such as the ability to enable or disable data collection features, delete data, and control where and how data is stored, as well as notice and consent, need-only use, and data protection. And finally, I'll list a few recommendations for AR glasses data collection. First, we recommend that companies make privacy options customizable for diverse and complex privacy concerns. Second, because so many concerns were context dependent, we encourage future work that applies Helen Nissenbaum's contextual integrity framework to AR glasses privacy concerns. And I'm so glad you gave that talk because it provided a lot of stuff I had to cut. So contextual integrity suggests adapting social norms that exist in physical social environments to digital or online data flows. And in the paper, we also discuss potential issues, even with contextual integrity, which Nissenbaum also talks about, presented by normative biases, such as the examples we heard about the non-standard accents and facial expressions, as well as the risk for new privacy invasive practices that might become the new normal if they're not challenged before that happens. We also recommend that policymakers and lawyers enact or pursue legal protections for AR glasses consumers, such as recent biometrics legislation and legal actions in various countries and US states. In summary, our study reveals many diverse and context-dependent concerns and some novel scenarios without established privacy norms. Our recommendations emphasize the need to address nuanced considerations in a complex privacy landscape. For more details about our findings and our recommendations, please read our paper or email me to learn more. Thank you.
I have a question while we're waiting for others to type in their questions. Did participants actively bring up bystander privacy concerns?
Yes. Yes. So people were more uncomfortable with, in some cases, with bystander data being collected, for example, the voice prints of bystanders. However, we did have some questions about facial recognition, and more participants said they would use facial recognition on other people, but when they were asked, would you be okay with it being used on you, they tended to say no.
And did they request different privacy controls for bystander privacy too?
Many of them suggested that bystanders should be either alerted or they should consent to the process.
Any other live questions? Yes.
So my intuition tells me that we are sort of training ourselves to what we're comfortable with. Does your data support that? So for example, say I'm more comfortable with my heart rate being revealed because I wear a smartwatch, whereas I'm not so comfortable with, I don't know, my height being revealed because I don't wear something that measures my height constantly.
It's a small study, but the results do show that with the chart. You can see at the bottom that the novel data types had more people who were uncomfortable with it. I would love to do, I think people should do a follow-up study kind of trying to maybe have a representative survey of that, but it seems like, and as you saw the location, a lot of people were comfortable with it. They were players of mobile AR games that, get your location. So even with a small sample, it was suggested, but, it doesn't generalize. So.
Let's thank the speaker again.